I say weird things, but they make a lot of sense. And if you dare to enter the stream, you'll get to meet my consciousness. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stream of Consciousness with your host, that's me, Conch, sharing my struggles and learnings from 10 years on the spiritual path in hopes that it helps others. I've always kind of shied away from personalizing the wisdom I've learned throughout my time as an energy healer, meditation teacher, all that good stuff. And I've been hearing a lot of messages lately of people telling me, share your story. You never ever know who it's going to help. If it just helps one person, it makes a world of difference to them. And I do believe in that power of even if it's just one person. So here I am sharing my stories through this podcast. And really, though, this podcast is meant to enable two things. It's meant to enable an explorative community and an enriching space for any and all who have found themselves on the spiritual path and navigating ambitions and goals and the, personal side of life while still trying to attain self-realization and peace. And secondly, it's an avenue for me to be bold enough to not censor myself and stay authentic regardless of it being a public profile, which of course the introvert in me truly hates. but I know it's an important step for me to take in my own journey as well. And I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while, went through multiple iterations of themes and names and brainstorming, and then just the clarity came because you can't really have Kanchana, me, without consciousness. So that's where that name came from. And I'm really excited to get into the good stuff here for this first episode. I've been thinking a lot about, making an impact, specifically direct versus indirect impact. And, when I meditated a lot and in daily moments, let me back up a little bit. I believe in meditation, not through a calm app or through guided meditation, which, yes, there are stages in the spiritual path for that. And I support anyone doing whatever it is you need to do to feel like you are helped and supported in the self-investigation. But for me, meditation means living meditation. So as I'm saying this, as I'm going through my day, as I'm interacting with coworkers, as I'm whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm always kind of watching what it is I'm doing. So I kind of do a living meditation, but I also do actually sit in deep silence and inquiry and watch in that way as well. And in a lot of those sessions, I guess, or any of the sessions, I just feel this pervasive love and need to share the goodness I have and just like give it out, like be as generous as possible with my time, with my words, with my actions, all of the above. And the weird part about it is when I feel this pervasive, like that unconditional, universal love that a lot of spiritual philosophies say that we actually are our true self, I have such a hard time actually connecting and relating to anybody to be able to directly impact them in the way that I want to. And honestly, it's been kind of an alienating process when you're truly genuine and sincere. I find sincerity really turns people off. They're not used to it, unless, of course, it's in a yoga meditation or mindfulness, whatever. Unless it's primed for a scenario. If it comes out of nowhere, it really does alienate people. People are weirded out by real, genuine, unconditional love coming to them from someone they don't know in that kind of intimate way. So it really kind of, at first, it shut me off to spreading that love. So I started to go more to my logical brain, what do they care about? My, the product development entrepreneur side of me is like, okay, so what is their actual pain, right? What are they experiencing? What can I actually, tactfully, practically help them with for that direct help, right? For that direct impact. And by direct, I mean what I can see come back, that satisfaction that comes back to me of, oh, I've done a thing, I've given, I've donated money, or I've given time, or I've, helped this person restructure their company for profitability. Like, those kinds of things are very practical and very direct impact that can be measured, right? Because that's what most of business world, actually all of business world, cares about, and really a lot of the world cares about, is that measurable impact. What did you do? What have you done? What can I get out of you? How will this help me? And although I went that route, and I'm proud and grateful for the impact that I've been able to make, it's not nourishing for me, and it feels derivative. It feels like I'm holding back from what I really want to give. And so what I want to share is this little bit of, I'm still working on it, but this little bit of wisdom, I guess, lack of a better word, that came to me about direct versus indirect impact, if I can talk. And I've started to really focus on being okay and accepting indirect impact. And these magic moments come about where, like, I still get to have that satisfaction, although it wasn't a direct impact. Even if the person doesn't know that it was me that created that impact for them, which, of course, again, our egos don't like. It's not as satisfying. We like to be like, I did this. We like to claim I. But whenever that sentence of impact starts with I, it's your ego self. It's an ego boost, and that's most of what it is. Yeah, you impacted the other person. It's about the other person, but it's about the other person so that you can feel better about yourself. So it really does come back, as most things do, to our self-worth and our need to feel valuable. And I, even having been a meditator for a long time, I do the peace mantra, which is Om Shanti Om. Very simple, very powerful. If you're ever in an anxiety moment, or right before you get on a call or something, if you have trouble on calls, say that just a few times slowly. Amazing the impact that it makes. And it's the energy that you bring into it. And so that's really what I want to share with you, is focus more on the impact your intentions can make. Focus on making your intentions as egoless and as pure as possible, because that not only comes back to you, it really does help you, your entire body, your entire corporeality, just emanate that out, not just to people around you. I've worked remote even before COVID. I am all about the fully remote work life, and I used to do energy healing, distance energy healing. So that's remote energy healing. Well, I'm not touching anybody. And I came away from that. How could I not have believed in this indirect impact? I was like, I'm an idiot. How could I not have picked up on this before? But it really just is about the energy and the intention that you bring into the impact that you want to make. I'm one of those people that, like, I literally love everyone. Like, my parents had to tell me, like, don't talk to strangers. Stop sharing everything with everybody. Like, just, slow down. Not everyone can be trusted. Of course, as children, I think we're all very trusting and loving, but I've kind of continued that. Like, my true self if I know someone, if I've met someone, if I can see the purity of their heart, I love everybody. I'm someone, when I was 5 years old, I touched a snake. Everyone else was scared. And I almost walked right into a crocodile pit because I was like, oh, cool. Like, I want to go love them too. Like, I want to go talk to them. I'm someone who talks to trees and mushrooms. Yes, they do talk back to me. It is a conversation. It's not just talking to myself, I promise. Or at least so I believe. Right? It's all about the belief and the intention. And I've started really focusing on just spending 5 minutes with no other intentions other than let my efforts now bring as much goodness for any and all that need it in this moment, in these 5 minutes. And then I do the Om Shanti mantra, and I end it with maybe 5 more minutes of literally nothing, just trying to be as empty as possible, watching what's happening, and the ego will swell up like, oh, I wonder who that affected, or I wonder if anyone felt it at all, or like, man, I hope that wasn't a waste of time. But I've noticed that I myself feel more peaceful from just having said the mantras. And I've gotten random texts from people, from old energy clients, energy healing clients I used to have, from friends that have, from states I've moved away from, that are telling me like, hey, did you do something? Like, I had this weird moment, or, I was really anxious today, or, I had a loved one in urgent care. It was actually a recent one. I had a loved one in urgent care. It was someone that was someone's father-in-law that was in the ICU and wasn't looking great, and they were just completely distraught. They had support, they had all the things, but like, it's hard to deal with things like that. And they got a message that out of nowhere, they just felt this relief. Release was the word that she used. And I, of course, I can't necessarily attribute that directly, right? That direct impact to what I had done, but the timeline kind of, correlated. And it's not just me. Like, go do the research. There has been tons of research on intentions, too, that I love bringing up, and I'll end with sharing one that you could try yourself. The first one is just global meditation sessions, when everyone comes together at a particular time, particular day, around solstice or full moon or whatever, some of those powerful cosmic moments, to all just meditate, not even like for peace or for this or for that, for anything, but just to meditate. Because the most direct impact I can have as a body, as a mind, as a persona, is to leave that behind and do that as often as possible, so that, again, I'm literally emanating all that is consciousness. That's, C-O-N, not K-A-N-C-H. The normal consciousness. And the second example, so the first example was, global meditations. And they bring about a lot of peace, not just for those that are there, but they've done studies on the energies that it creates, and it's monumentally impactful. The second one I love is research that was done on intentions and water crystals. And when the water was exposed to hateful things, negative things, like people said, like bad things to it, right? That we might hear or whatever. And even simple things as like, you're ugly, or I hate you, or whatever, versus I love you and you're beautiful, and just like, again, negative versus positive things that we might tend to hear. So people send these things into the water, and when they looked at the particles of each of these two sides of the experiment, the ones that were told negative things, those water particles, they honestly, I'm telling you, they looked mutilated. If you look up the pictures, it's a very well-known experiment, water experiment, and when you look at the pictures of the negative side of it, I mean, I'm telling you, literally looks mutilated. Where you have like those beautiful like snow crystals, that formations, the beautiful like fractal aspect of it is so tarnished and worn, and it literally looks like someone who's been abused, because the water was. And for the positive side, wow. I mean, these are like the perfect, crystals. They have beautiful symmetry, beautiful design. I mean, they literally look like those perfect, ice crystals that people make during the holidays. It's amazing, the difference. And I actually did a version of this experiment. I had a ginormous water filter, this fancy filter that my mother-in-law gave us. And because we had hard water, I was living in Denver, we had hard water at the time. And I put sticky notes all over the water tank. And it said, things, it's a motivational thing, loving things, like, thank you, I'm grateful, you've, given me hydrate, like this, I don't even remember what it actually was, but just those kinds of things. And I put, and I didn't know the negative because I didn't want to infuse my water with that. So I just had a control of like just normal water that wasn't going through any of that. And I'm not kidding you when I say the water that was, let's say, charged with those intentions, those positive intentions, tasted cleaner, and this is the weird part, slightly sweeter. I'm not saying it was sugary, but it was slightly sweeter. It had a lack of particles, almost like it had like a clarity to it, and sweet. So like, what is that about, right? And so when I said I would end with where you can try this yourself, and I'm doing that now. So how you can try this yourself to prove to yourself you don't believe me about intentions and focusing on just doing pure impact, not having to make it direct, is go take a glass of water, just a glass of water, whatever water you usually drink, and you can put your hand over it, you can cup your hand around it, whatever feels natural, and just bless it. It's called, just bless it. So you can even just say, like, I bless this water. Or one of the most powerful blessings, in my opinion, is gratitude. So just say, like, thank you, even, or you're so lovely, or just any of those kinds of things. Or you can go beyond that if you are already on the spiritual path, and you can do a mantra to it. You can do the seed sounds of the certain chakras, so Lam, Vam, etc. And you can, of course, infuse it with very specific intention, like right before a workout. I like really high intensity workouts, and then also very low. And I find a balance between the two. I've had a lot of injuries, so I can't do as high intensity as I once did. I used to box, but you can just say, like, you can bless it with the intention to help you hydrate better for your workout, even. Whatever it is, just keep it pure and positive, and focus on the intention, and not on what you get back. That's important. Not on what you get back, but on the element that you are engaging with. So in this case, water, one of the most powerful elements we have. Water is life. And so knowing that water is life, or if you believe in that kind of thing, just hold good intentions there. Even if it's just, I love you, just say that over and over and over. One of the most powerful things you can do is charge your water or your food in this way. I personally am a consumer of cannabis, I guess, and I have also used this to bless not so terpene rich bud and flower, especially if I'm needing it for pain and I feel like it's not really vibing with me. I believe in plant teachers, so I do talk to my bud. I mean, you're probably not surprised by now with all the weirdness I've already said so far in this episode. But I've used it for a lot of different things, and the water tastes amazing. The food tastes so much better. And if you have any, I have some allergies. I can't have dairy and whatever. And it actually helps me deal with those allergies as well. Crazy, right? Just saying I love you over and over. I mean, of course, maybe don't do this in public. People will probably call you crazy. But to that water, just do it for 5 iterations of I love you. And have a glass that you keep somewhere else that you're not doing that to. And taste each one. And tell me if you don't see the difference. Actually, truly, I'm telling you. Tell me in the comments if you don't see the difference. I will read every single one of the comments. I will reply to as many as I can. Hopefully all of them. And I'm asking you to prove me wrong. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you taste when you do this, because it is truly transformative. So, thank you everyone so much for listening. If you get one thing out of this episode, it's if you want to give out love, if you want to be generous with your goodness and share it with the world, don't focus on direct impact, especially if you're struggling for that. I call myself a flounderer, because I've recently gotten clarity through Bob Studios, which is my business, on what exactly I want to provide. But it took me a really, really, really long time, and I'm not one to quickly kind of be like, yeah, that's the thing I want. That's exactly what I want. I want nothing else. This is perfect. That's hard for me to get to. So it's really helped me open up the direct impact opportunities by focusing on just impact, specifically indirect impact, and being okay and accepting of that indirect impact, and really aligning all of my focus, all of my energy of wanting to give, aligning that generosity to just intention of impact. And you'll see it all come back to you. I can guarantee. All right. Let me know if this was useful at all, if this touched you, if this aggravated you, whatever it was, in the comments. I really, really appreciate it. And guys, I ask you to just help me create this beautiful community where we can all explore things together with humor, with openness, and with respect for one another. And I wish everyone that's listening all the growth and peace in the world. Thanks again, and I will see you next time, next Thursday, in fact, where we will talk about masculine versus feminine and how those kinds of things come into how we see ourselves and how we address our spiritual path. All right. See you next time.